Love has architects, and this week, two of them meet in the same sky. Venus, right here, this is a symbol for Venus, and Makemake, right here, that's the symbol. Venus and Makemake, they meet to redesign how we give, how we create, and how we receive. Now, this isn't romance forecast astrology. It's the science of resonance. It's the code that writes what we call connection. Beautiful ones, welcome back. I'm Cindi, astrologer, mystic, and your guide through the stars. Now, my deep dives take us beneath prediction into remembrance, where astrology stops being information and becomes transformation, right? And after yesterday's forecast, oh, you're going to feel this one. Because if Pluto, right here, is the underworld architect, Venus and Makemake are the cosmic designers of how beauty takes form. Yesterday, we opened the Libra new moon, and I'll have that video right here for you, okay? This was the reset of balance, fairness, and truth. That was the invitation. Now, tonight, we meet the builders who answer it. At 11 degrees, Libra, Venus, the goddess of love, value, and attraction, stands beside Makemake, the distant dwarf planet named for the Rapa Nui creator god. Their conjunction happens in the same airfield we just activated, but this time it's not about communication. It's about creation itself. Think of it this way. The Libra new moon drafted the contract. Venus and Makemake are drawing the blueprint. Every form of love has an architect, and every architect begins with desire, right? So let's begin with who they are, because Venus and Makemake aren't just celestial bodies. They are living codes of creation. Venus is the rhythm of harmony itself, the way beauty organizes reality. She doesn't arrive to fix what's wrong. She reveals what's already resonant. Her gift is coherence, that quiet hum inside you when your outer world finally matches your inner truth. In astrology, Venus isn't about romance first. It's about value, what we honor, what feels like ease, what magnetizes us without force. Where Venus moves through your chart, you remember that attraction isn't something you chase. It's the natural echo of alignment. And then there's Makemake, the divine craftsman, the ancient Rapa Nui creator who formed life from red clay and starlight. He represents the principle of divine architecture. This is how consciousness shapes form with purpose and care. Where Venus inspires, Makemake constructs. He is creation's engineer, the one who ensures beauty endures. When these two meet in Libra, the sign of design, relationship, and sacred symmetry, the universe pauses to refine the blueprint of love itself. It's not sentimentality, it's strategy. So Venus provides the aesthetic, the vision of what harmony feels like, right? And Makemake lays the foundation, the structures that can sustain that. Personally, you may feel this as a desire to bring your life back into resonance, not by adding more, but by choosing what reflects your true frequency. Maybe it's how you relate, wanting relationships that feel like reciprocity instead of performance. Or maybe it's in your work, wanting what you create to hold the same energy you live by. And collectively, this energy is artistry meeting accountability. So we're watching humanity mature from surface beauty into embodied integrity, from curated aesthetics to conscious design, from how it looks to how it lives, right? Venus and Makemake remind us love is not what we fall into, it's what we build in alignment. Beauty isn't decoration, it's instruction. Creation itself is a sacred responsibility. So, as they join hands in Libra this week, the question isn't, what will you attract? It's, what will you build beautifully? And will it last because it's true? When love meets the maker, creation remembers what it's for. Now let's look at where this moment lives in the sky and in us. On October 23rd, Venus and Makemake stand together at 11 degrees in Libra. That's the same airfield we activated under Tuesday's new moon. The comet Lemmon still glows nearby at 18 degrees, right around here, carrying light from beyond our solar story, right? And then we have Mars that burns through 21-degree Scorpio, adding the emotional depth and focus. And look, right at this time, we have the moon there for a little bit. So you're going to feel it. And this is all while Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius observes from above. Remember, he's the reformer watching the design unfold, okay? It's as if the universe itself formed a studio, right? Where Venus is sketching Makemake drafts, Mars wields, and Pluto signs the blueprint into collective law, okay? Personally, this conjunction can feel like the moment you pause mid-movement and ask, is what I'm creating still true for me? Maybe you realize a relationship is asking for redesign. Not ending, but redesign. But a new layout, okay? Like a redesign. Maybe the way you've been earning or expressing value suddenly feels too small for who you've become. Venus and Makemake whisper, form must match frequency. That's what they're asking of you. So the people, the projects, the priorities that can't hold your authentic vibration, they will begin to quietly dissolve, freeing space for what's aligned, okay? In the body, it may feel like a deep inhale that finally lands, a settling after months of striving, okay? You might crave beauty that nourishes rather than distracts. So like cleaner spaces, slower mornings, art that breathes instead of shouts. That's Venus guiding you back to resonance. Now, Makemake gives the instruction, okay? So Makemake says, build a life that can sustain that peace. Collectively, we're witnessing this same shift. Artists are questioning ownership. Designers are asking how to create without depletion. Even economies are flirting with cooperation over competition. That's Makemake speaking through Venus, saying, beauty without integrity collapses, and integrity without beauty forgets why it began. And then there's Mars in Scorpio, right? The builder's torch. He's reminding us that manifestation is not mental exercise. It's embodied choice. Mars translates the blueprint into action. So these days are excellent for committing to the change, signing the contract, reorganizing the studio, speaking the boundary, right? All of these under this sky, follow through is sacred at this time. So if life feels like it's asking for adjustment, don't rush to fix it. Redesign with consciousness. If a partnership or project suddenly feels heavy, you need to ask, is this structure still alive? And if your inspiration returns after that, follow it. It's the universe handing you new design specs. Because this week, creation isn't random, it's responsive. Everything that vibrates with your real value will magnetize towards you. Everything built on old patterns, though, those are going to quietly drift away. And that isn't loss, it's refinement. The architecture is updating. Remember, every creation carries a shadow, and that shadow is simply what happens when love forgets its purpose. Now, every planetary meeting brings both invitation and initiation, and Venus with Makemake is no exception. Because when love meets creation, the question becomes, what happens when beauty loses its compass? So let's start with the shadow. When Venus's magnetism isn't anchored in truth, attraction becomes performance. Now, you guys know this if you've been following my Venus through the houses, and I'll set that up here for you guys. You guys are understanding more about Venus, right? We start designing lives for admiration instead of alignment when this happens. Images that photograph well but feel hollow when we're done. Now, Makemake's shadow is similar. He builds endlessly but forgets to reset, creating structure without soul. It's the busy artist, the overachiever, the endless fixer, producing without purpose. When these energies distort, we see it everywhere in relationships. It looks like compatibility without intimacy, people maintaining appearance instead of connection. In society, it's innovation without ethics, progress that forgets compassion. Does all this sound familiar? In your own energy field, it's exhaustion disguised as productivity. I know y'all have felt that, and some of y'all are still feeling that. It's the shadow, the creation that's clever but not concise. But here's the gift, and it's stunning when it lands. When Venus and Makemake align in awareness, creation becomes a remembrance. We remember that beauty was never about approval. It was about coherence. That every design, from a painting to a conversation to a human life, carries the potential to awaken something divine. Personally, you may feel this as a pull towards simpler beauty, not less, just truer. The friendships that energize you, the work that feels like devotion, the home that reflects calm instead of chaos, all of it begins to hum again when Venus and Makemake meet. It's not about adding new layers of luxury. It's about removing what blocks elegance from flowing naturally. Collectively, this is where the art world meets the heart world, where design, technology, and creativity begin asking the question, can innovation serve harmony? We'll see it in shifts towards regenerative design, ethical fashion, conscious tech, and artistry that carries a prayer instead of a price tag. It's the evolution of beauty from consumption to contribution. And as all of this unfolds, Mars in Scorpio becomes the activator. He's the reminder that love without embodiment is just theory. That makes sense? This week, the way we love becomes the way we live, through every choice, through every creation, through every boundary we will honor. So, if you feel called to create, then create. But create with awareness. If you feel called to love, then love. But love with intention. Because this conjunction right here isn't just about attraction. It's about authorship. You're being handed the pen to rewrite how love expresses through you. And remember, the shadow isn't the enemy. It's the blueprint in progress. every time we choose truth over performance or alignment over applause, we polish the divine's design. Now, also remember, creation isn't complete until it's lived through you. Okay? So, beautiful ones. Venus and Makemake don't ask for worship, they're asking for participation. This energy wants to move through your body, through your choices, through your environment. It's not a concept, it's a collaboration. Here are 3 ways to let this conjunction become real. 3 practices to anchor beauty as structure, not decoration. Okay? Number 1, what's resonating now? I want you to grab your piece of paper and your pen or your journal. Or if you don't even have that, simply close your eyes. Think of 3 areas of your life: relationships, work, and your physical space. Okay? Think of those. Once you have those in your mind, I want you to ask yourself, where does it feel fluid, like breath, where it's just easy and aligned, right? And where does it feel forced, like holding your breath? Don't fix anything yet. I just want you to notice it, okay? Venus reveals harmony through awareness first. Makemake follows by giving you the blueprint. In the days ahead, simplify one thing that feels forced, okay? Maybe it's how you schedule your mornings. Maybe it's a conversation waiting for honesty. When you remove what's false, resonance automatically returns. You don't have to do anything, okay? Now, number 2, create beauty consciously. So, Makemake governs the sacred act of making. So, this week, make something with your hands. Cook a meal, plant something, paint, rearrange your space, not for perfection, but for presence. And some of you may have already been called to do this stuff. So continue, okay? While you do it, I want you to whisper, I'm shaping my world in alignment with my heart, okay? That small gesture tells the universe you remember your creative role. It's not the scale of what you make that matters. It's the intention behind it. Okay? And the last one, number 3, returning to resonance. Okay? When the day feels noisy or you start doubting your direction, okay? I want you to pause. I want you to place your hand over your heart. And I want you to inhale softly for 4 counts and then exhale for 6. And I want you to feel the rhythm even out as you're doing this, right? That's Venus restoring balance to your nervous system. Now, your soul knows its original resonance, but our body we're having to work with, okay? We're having to remind the nervous system, okay? So, as you do this and you feel the rhythm sort of even out, then say quietly, beauty begins in my breath. Beauty begins in my breath. And you'll feel the field around you shift almost instantly. That's not imagination. That's coherence being restored. That's resonance. That's what you're feeling. These are simple tools, remember, but I can only give them to you. It is up to you to do your work, okay? Now, these are simple tools, but they're powerful because they're consistent with nature's rhythm, with our awareness, with creation, with breath. That's the holy trinity of Venus and Makemake. Every time you align, design, and breathe, you become the architecture of harmony itself. You know why I know you can do this? Because you've always done this. You've just forgotten. You know this. This is you. Now it's time to remember. Every act of love is a design. And every design that's born of love becomes eternal. So, beautiful ones, this week, the sky reminds us creation is not random. That new moon in Libra planted the intention. Venus and Makemake draw the plans. Mars in Scorpio gives it form. And Pluto in Aquarius ensures what's built now will stand for generations. This is the new architecture of love, one that doesn't chase harmony, but creates it consciously. It's the shift from wanting connection to becoming connection, from asking what you'll attract to asking what you're ready to sustain. Every choice you make this week is a brushstroke in your blueprint. Okay? The conversation you soften into, the project that you refine, the boundary that you honor with grace, these are sacred acts of construction. Venus teaches that love is frequency. Makemake teaches that frequency deserves form. Together, they remind us the life you're building should feel like home to your soul. So take this as your closing activation. Move beautifully, create intentionally, speak architecturally, because what you design in awareness now becomes the foundation others will one day stand on. And remember, you are not waiting for alignment. You are the alignment. The sky isn't separate from you. It's the mirror of your remembering. And if this message resonates with your heart, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay connected. Every week, we travel through these timelines together, rediscovering the divine design written inside each of us. But until next time, keep your frequency clear, your creations intentional, and your heart in the flow. And I'll meet you on tomorrow's episode of Don't Miss This Transit, where the next wave of energy reveals what this new architecture is preparing us for. Remember, you are the design, beautiful one, and the universe is already responding.